Lights were on, but dim too low. You asked a question, I let it go. We shared the room, but not the air. I almost spoke, but didn't dare. Things I didn't say float in between, like dust that lingers on something clean. You never pushed, I never stayed. Now we live with what we never made. You left your tea still warm, untouched. A quiet exit without much. Things I didn't say still speak for me, like faded notes on melody. We weren't wrong, just lost our way in all the things I didn't say. Some truths don't land, they just delay. And I'm still held by what I didn't say. You left too fast, the tea went cold. No fight, just silence told. I watched the dust settle in place. Your empty cup still holds your trace. Dust in your cup, time won't clean the things we said and what they mean. You turned the key, I held the door, but didn't stop you anymore. You stirred it once, then walked away, like all our talk just meant to fade. Dust in your cup, time won't clean the things we said and what they mean. You turned the key, I held the door, but didn't stop you anymore. I sip regret, it's bitter slow. You took the taste, I let it go. Dust in your cup still sits there as if one day you'll reappear, but mornings come and always prove the quiet's one that never moves.
I sat across, the words were there.
this way. I wrote it down 1,000 times in coffee cups and crooked lines. But when your eyes searched into mine, I closed the door, ignored the sign. Now every song sounds like that night when I gave in to fear, not right. I almost said it, then the moment slipped. Now I keep it like a sinking ship. You'll never know what almost came. Just empty rooms and echo names. I trace the steam on window panes, like tracing back forgotten trains. The path to you, the words unsent, still haunt the place where time was bent. Your hand was near, I could have reached, but silence pulled and so I breached. I almost said it, then the moment slipped. Now I keep it like a sinking ship. You'll never know what almost came. Just empty rooms and echo names. Would it have changed a single thing if I had let the truth take wing? Or would you still have walked away, leaving me with things I couldn't say? I almost said it, but fear was loud. Now I whisper to a distant cloud. If I could go, I wouldn't wait. But now it's gone and it's too late. You left your coat, but not your name. The light stayed on, the room the same. You didn't cry, you didn't wave, just turned and walked through all we gave. I didn't speak, I couldn't move. The quiet grew and filled the room. No one stayed, no one stayed. The air just hung where your breath laid. I looked for words, but none obeyed. So I just sat and watched us fade. You took your books, but not the frame. You kept it bare, but left the name. I memorized the way you stood, like all things still that once were good. No one stayed, no one stayed. The walls remember more than I say. I reached for a sound, but it betrayed, and all I had just slipped away. You don't need storms to end a thing. just the way bells ring. No one stayed, and that's the truth. You left your silence in my youth. I opened doors, but not the same. No one's here to call my name. I still hear your keys in the quiet after tea. Not every sound fades out. Some just stay with me. You close the drawer too slow, like you meant for me to know that leaving wasn't loud, just low. You're not quite gone, but not quite here. Like morning fog that disappears. I touch the space you used to fill. You're not quite gone, but never still. The shoes you wore last fall are still lined against the wall. I should have moved them once, but I stall. You're not quite gone, but not quite real. Like a photo bent that used to feel. I try to frame what slipped between. You're not quite gone, just in between. No echo shout, no closure song. You're not quite gone, just always hung. You think it's still because it's calm, but underneath it pulls along. I didn't cry, but I still drowned in every word we left unwound. Still water doesn't sleep, it only hides what's deep. Like all the things I meant, but couldn't let you keep. It looks like peace to you, but I still feel it move. Still water, still moves through. Your hand was near, I didn't reach. I stayed beneath the things we teach. Still water doesn't sleep, it just forgets to speak. And in that hush I live, where no one comes to seek. You called it letting go, but that's not what it feels. Still water, still keeps real. I but never leap. Still water doesn't sleep.
The room remains the way you left. No books or moves, no shelves reset. Your scent still lingers in the air, a tender ghost that's always there. The window sings the same old tune, a breeze that moves like you'd resume. Your sweater drapes across the chair, a memory pretending care. I try to clean, I try to shift, but every touch becomes a drift. You're still in the room, though you've been gone. In the quiet hum, in the morning yawn, the clock ticks off, but never knew, as if it waits for more of you. I talk out loud like you might hear the thoughts I never made too clear. I laugh, I cry, the things I hid now fill the air like they once did. The past is gentle when it stays inside these 4 familiar days. You're still in the room, though you've been gone. In the quiet hum, in the morning yawn, the clock ticks off, but never knew, as if it waits for more of you. I don't erase, I don't let go. I let you live in subtle glow. Not haunting, not quite holding on, but somewhere soft and never gone. You're still in the room, not in the sound, but in the way the light falls down. And if you asked if I still knew, I'd say I stayed to wait for you.
Woke up to light that didn't shine, just lingered soft along the blinds. Your shirt still hangs inside the door. I thought I moved, but nothing more. It's almost gray, not black, not white. A kind of hush that steals the night. I don't forget, I just delay what we became. voice is faint, but still repeats in all the spaces between my sleep. It's almost great, not wrong, not right. It just remains without a fight. The rain might fall or drift away, but we exist inside the gray. Peace, not pain, just floating here, almost gray. We stay too long in that same room where nothing changed, but time made room. The chair, the rug, your half-read book. I walked around, but never looked. The room we didn't leave still lives inside of me. I thought we moved along, but something chose to breathe. You packed your bag, but left the air. The room we didn't leave is everywhere. I dust the shelves, but not your frame. I change the light, but not your name. The room we didn't leave still hums behind my sleep. No final word was said, just distance soft and deep. We closed the door, but not the need. The room we didn't leave is all I keep. It's not a place, it's not a grief, just something slow we didn't leave.
pause in every room. An empty cup of fading gloom. The way the light slips down the wall feels like your name, not said at all. I reach for things that aren't quite there. The coat you wore, an empty chair. I breathe you in though you're not near. Some things remain and disappear. And in the hush I hear you sigh, a sound between the earth and sky. You're held in the air, not gone, not here. A memory shaped by what I fear. I walk through days that still hold you, in quiet winds that feel like truth. Your shoes untouched beneath the bed. Your voice still playing in my head. No storm, no cry, no last refrain. Just gentle loss that still remains. If time was kind, it'd let you fade, but I still feel the mark you made. You're held in the air, not gone, not here. A memory shaped by what I fear. I walk through days that still hold you, in quiet winds that feel like truth. The space between what was and is where you float and where I miss. And even silence knows your name. It hums, it's soft and just the same. You're held in the air, I breathe you in. A soft regret beneath my skin. You're not a ghost, you're not a flame, but still I whisper just the same. I found the letter creased and pale, your words like wind too soft to trail. It smelled of rain and something gone, like melodies we leaned upon. I read it twice, then closed my eyes. Each line a door I don't revise. Your hand, your tone, the way you wrote still floats around like unsung notes. You asked if I was ever sure. I wasn't then, but now I'm more. Your faded letter sits in my drawer, a silent tether to what we wore. The years may pass, but ink stays true. I read it slow. To postmark blurred, the date unknown, but I remember being alone when all you said began to ring inside the quiet of the spring. I left it folded, left it still, but now it moves me more than will. Your faded letter sits in my drawer, a silent tether to what we wore. The years may pass, but ink stays true. I read it slow. If I had written something back, would time have bent or stayed on track? But now we live in written lines between your truths and all my signs. Your faded letter is all I keep. It holds the version I couldn't meet. The paper's thin, but it holds weight of all I was and learned too late. There's a mug on the sill, steam long gone. A book half read, the light stays on. Your sweater hangs like you might come, but even breath feels overrun. I try to name what slipped away, but all I feel is where you'd stay. The space between what was and now still holds your voice. Somewhere, somehow, I call it love, or maybe ache. But even stillness starts to break. I move through rooms without your sound. Each footstep lands on hollow ground. The clock still ticks, but not the same. It counts in thoughts that end in blame, and every shadow knows the truth. The you I lost still feels like proof. The space between what was and now still holds your voice. Somewhere, somehow, I call it love, or maybe ache. But even stillness starts to break. You're not a ghost, you're not a flame, just distance wearing down my name. If I could speak across the years, would you return or disappear? The space between still keeps me in. Not lost, not hope, but something thin. I walk it slow, I call it true. It's what remains of me and you.
You didn't yell, you didn't plead. You just let go of what we need. And in that calm I heard it clear. The end had come, already here. You folded clothes with careful hands, like someone following commands. No pause, no glance, no last defense. Just stillness dressed in past tense. Undone by quiet, not by rage. You closed the book and turned the page. No fire, no flood, no storm to chase. Just silence taking up your place. You made the bed, you left it neat, as if goodbye could be discreet. But every crease and every line spoke louder than your mouth or mine. Undone by quiet, not by fight. You slipped away inside the night. No broken glass, no slam front gate. Just silence sealing up our fate. We think that endings come with sound, but some just echo all around. And when I speak I hear it then, the silence that won't end again. Undone by quiet, that soft collapse of everything we couldn't grasp. And though you're gone, it stays intact. The quiet that won't give you back. Watch the seconds lose their place, right as you left without a trace. Your shadow long against the floor. The moment slipped and nothing more. I didn't move, I didn't speak. The time felt slow, my hands felt weak. You glanced once back but didn't stay, and just like that you walked away. What if I'd stood, what if I ran? Would anything have changed our plan? If the clock had waited just a breath or two, would I have stopped you like I meant to do? But time was cruel and I was late.
Each minute wraps me in its fold. The hours bloom and disappear, but never bring you closer here. I try to chase what never was, a pause, a turn, a different cause. If the clock had waited just a breath or two, would I have stopped you like I meant to do? But time was cruel and I was late. Now I live with silent fate. We never get to choose the speed of moments that we really need. And now the seconds only show the life I lost, the you I know. If the clock had waited just one more sigh, I would have found a better goodbye. But clocks don't bend and time won't trade, so here I stay in what we made. You left your sweater in July, still hanging where I said goodbye. I almost touched it yesterday, but stopped myself and looked away. The morning creeps without a sound, like all the things we never found. A half-filled note I meant to send, now just to start without an end. And every light across the floor feels like the one that led you out the door. A trace of light, you used to be fading slow. Inside of me, try to hold what time erased. But even shadows lose their shape. I drink the tea you used to make, still bitter in this quiet ache. Your laughter lives in hallway walls. It rises, then it softly falls. I speak your name into the air, but nothing answers, nothing's there. A trace of light, you used to be fading slow. Inside of me, try to hold what time erased. But even shadows lose their shape. I could have stayed, I could have tried, but silence grew, our words had died. And now I live with half the view, the other half belongs to you. A trace of light still haunts the room, a distant hum of something true. And when I breathe, I feel it still, the quiet ache. I always will. By the window where you stood, dust collecting like it would. Empty cup and open page, still untouched since that day. Evening light in softened hue holds the shape I knew as you. Shadows fall but don't erase your ghost in every place. I whisper things I never said to photographs and unmade beds. I still see you where I left you in the quiet. I regret to breathe like you once did, with the wind you used to bid me goodnight in softest tones. Now I talk to you alone. The air still tastes of